Now, Harry and Meghan want 2024 to be a year of redemption. There is more chance of hell freezing over. What exactly are they looking for redemption for? Is it ruining the final days of two of this nation's greatest ever people, our late Queen and Prince Philip? Is it the fake race war that they tried to start within the royal family? Is it doing precious little for charity, despite taking loads in donations from their mates and constantly banging on about how worthy they are? Is it boring the arse off everyone with their Netflix tripe? Is it increasing the terror threat by revealing how many Taliban fighters Harry had killed? Is it not coming out and condemning Omid Scobie's hit piece? Is it casting a shadow over the King's coronation? Is it costing taxpayers tens of millions of pounds for a wedding and then slagging us off and leaving? Is it being, quotes, lazy grifters with their Spotify podcast, being hammered by South Park and Family Guy? I mean, who could forget this classic?
We want privacy! We want privacy!
Hey, thanks for having us on the show.
It's so awesome to be here. It's great.
So let me start with you, Sam. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where?
Talking of where, maybe Harry wants redemption for one of the most unintentionally comical books ever written. Here's a little reminder.
My penis was oscillating between extremely sensitive and borderline traumatised. The last place I wanted to be was Frostnipistan. I'd been trying some home remedies, including one recommended by a friend. She'd urged me to apply Elizabeth Arden cream. My mum...
Constantly turning up on red carpet events for things like the Power of Women gala, but offering nothing of substance at all. Maybe they want redemption for that. Apparently, they're going to move to Hollywood because Meghan is so popular there, yeah? All right, about as popular as a fart in a lift. They've just been named Hollywood's biggest losers, haven't they? There is talk of Meghan being dropped by her talent agents, although sources close to Meghan have hit back. They say that she is receiving offers left, right and centre. Here's an offer. Apologise to the royal family and the British public, and maybe we'll call it quits. But let's get the thoughts of my panel now. We've got John Sargent, former BBC chief political correspondent, Charlotte Griffiths, editor-at-large for the Mail on Sunday, Mike Green as well, entrepreneur and former Brexit Party candidate. Charlotte, I'll start with ladies first. What do you think about this? Is there any chance of redemption? What would they have to do to be redeemed?
OK, well, first of all, you missed off the high-speed car chase, which was my most irksome moment of the year.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it was trying to evoke memories of Diana, which is just, horrendous thing to be doing. But I think they could start with letting Charles see his grandchildren. So we just found out they've been to Costa Rica for their Christmas holiday. Charles hasn't seen his grandchildren in God knows how long. Apparently he's very hurt about it. And they sort of use the children as a sort of tool to say, we need more security, we can't come back to England, we can't let you see your children because we don't have enough security, because you don't treat us nicely enough. So I think they need to stop that act, really.
OK, Mike, your views, maybe I've been a bit harsh there. Maybe, all of this is just being whipped up and actually they are quite nice people.
Yeah, I mean, it's Christmas, it's time for forgiveness, it's time for reconnecting to families, and they're a couple that's easy to hate. So let's look at, you said, what do they need to do if it's about redemption? In between all of the headlines, Harry has done some amazing things with Invictus. He's done some amazing things with the Archwell Foundation. He, in living memory, is the royal that has spent more time on frontline military duty than any other royal. So there are reasons to respect them and feel positive towards them. I think if they focus on what they can do that's good, fix the family thing. It's Christmas. Let's move on from that. He's told his story. He's had sympathy. People are fed up with it. But if he can focus on what they can do that's positive in America, in England, reconnecting with family, I think people will forgive him. People are willing to forgive if you stop whinging.
Yeah, I just wonder, John, if they're just too toxic now.
Well, they have delusions of grandeur, and it's very difficult, unless you're a psychiatrist working with them on a daily basis, to say you've just got to get real. And it's hurry on down. There's no, can we now redo the whole thing again, and we'll then have the wedding again, and we want marvellous, and the public will love us, and it'll all be resolved. No, I'm afraid it's not going to resolve itself, and there's nothing much they can do. But what they've got to try and do is to say, look, we're real people leading a normal life. We're not a politician or a top businessman or a top athlete saying, these are my goals for the next year. They're not in that game. They shouldn't even try to be in that game. They should just shut up and get on with their ordinary lives.
When it talks about redemption, surely the family is the thing that has to come first, Charlotte, and I just don't see that happening.
I think it's the family, and I think the only way to ingratiate herself in the family again, and with the nation and with the world, is a full mea culpa, and that's just never going to happen. Can you imagine that happening?
An apology. See, for you, it would be an apology or nothing.
I think it's the only thing that will work, yeah. And I just really don't see that happening. The other thing she could do is stop being so hypocritical. So a lot of this year has been about victimhood, you know, were we in a high-speed car chase, Harry's book, you know. He said about 100 times that Meghan fell on the floor in a fit of tears. And the problem is we just don't believe that, because we know Meghan is this, like, ultra-powerful, forward-going go-getter. I can't really imagine her collapsing in a fit of tears on the floor because she didn't get her coffee hot enough. Yeah. So she just needs to own it and just be Meghan Markle. Stop pretending she doesn't like freebies and red carpets and glitzy awards dues. She loves it all. She just needs to be herself, kind of go out there and own Hollywood. If she wants to get herself back in with the Americans, I can't really see if that will go down too well over here in the UK.
Well, you know, you did quite a bit with the Brexit Party, or one of the reasons why that cause was so popular was because you chimed in with what the public actually wanted, but that people were too afraid to talk about. I feel like this is the opposite. They're not afraid to talk about stuff that everybody flipping hates. You know, when it comes to the misery, woe is me, cry harder from your £18 million Montecito mansion or whatever it is.
Well, and I think, you know, with Brexit, people who supported Brexit believed in it with a passion. It was easy to make that demonised in the media and then warped into something that wasn't around racism and that. So I can see how negative can easily be built upon as a foundation. To me, what I do know is people aren't interested in your problems. People want to see, so what? What are you going to do about it? What's the positive? And, you know, people will say to you, how are you doing? Most of the time, they don't really care. They just want you to say, fine, thank you. And the more you wallow in problems, actually, the more people distance themselves. They need to focus on what they can positively do. Now, he wrote his book, Spare. He is spare. He's fifth in line to the throne. So he's not going to be a royal of any importance going forward,
I think
really.
he could have had a great life, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, I get that, you know, pressures and stress is a terrible thing to happen when it came to Diana. Obviously, all of that goes without saying. But, you know, this guy, like you're saying, 15 lines to the throne or whatever he was, and he could have, let's be honest, he would never have wanted for anything in his life. You'd turn up to Milton Keynes and cut a ribbon on something every now and again, and that would have been great. He had his Invictus Games.
Could you live with that?
And all of this.
Is that enough? I don't know.
He could have done something useful. I mean, that's what makes it makes it a real tragedy, because he had a chance to do something in all kinds of ways where people would think, oh, good on you, and that's nice, and well done. But to work his way through all this stuff and get redemption, you're asking for a miracle, aren't you?
What a wasted
you're asking people to
opportunity,
forget everything.
What a wasted opportunity, you know, to have people falling all over you, contracts coming out of your backside, loads of money in the bank, the world at your feet, and then to just go. And the only thing I think has been worse recently is the Tories wasting an 80-odd seat majority, to be honest with you. But I'll just go into the inbox quickly. Meghan and Harry have definitely burnt their bridges. This is from Basil, thank you very much. There's quite a lot of this coming. They can never come back, says... there's no name on this one. They can never come back. They can't be trusted. There you go. Meghan and Harry should never be allowed to enter this country. Not a lot of shades of grey in the inbox, I'll be honest with you. GBViews at gbnews.com. Do you think that if they did apologise, Mike, if they did apologise full mea culpa to King Charles, the British public would allow them back? I think an apology goes a long way, but it's got to be heartfelt, and it can't be... You can't beat around the bushes. You've got to get straight through with... I mean, they are 37 and 41 years old. They're still kind of figuring it out to some degree. I think if they said sorry, the British public are quite forgiving.
No, bring the kids back. Don't have much publicity about it. Restrict the interviews. Don't make it about the children, make it about the king. He's got to see his grandchildren, why not? And just play it absolutely straight, saying we're on a short visit. This is what we want to do. We think we are building bridges. It's not a big deal. It's not our redemptive year activity. It's not our plan for the next 5 years or anything. No, it's just we're doing a simple thing. We know that the king's upset about it. We're going to try and build that bridge, but we're not going to give long interviews about it. it, and we're certainly not going to try and rerun the events of the last 5 years. No.
They're also saying, you know, they're thinking of moving to Hollywood because Meghan's so popular in Hollywood. She's turning down offers left, right, and centre. The irony is, of course, that she was on a red carpet, a woman's gala, and they said to her, "Oh, what have you got coming up?" And she goes, "Oh, well, I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. I can't." OK, all right, you've got nothing on, have you? You've got nothing on. Do you think that she would do well in Hollywood, though?
I think, well, a lot of these things she's been offered are speaking gigs, which she actually is very good at. She's very, very good at talking about herself, and she's very, very confident on the stage. So she's been offered lots of speaking gigs, which is a slightly different thing. But she has got a couple of projects coming up with Netflix.
Ah, well, we wait with bated breath.